I never seen him treat Miss Lopez like that.
Gene starts the conversation with that. When Cassie's complaints drop, the interviewer says, what she's alleging is crazy. Gene Deal, former head of security, said, I never seen him treat J-Lo like that. Why?
Even when he was going behind her back and still dealing with Kim, he didn't want Kim to deal with nobody, bruh. I can't speak on Cassie or her statements like that, but I could reflect on the way he treated Kim.
Ooh.
We would leave Jennifer's house. He would call a babysitter. If Kim was out on the town, we was going to every spot in New York City that the babysitter thought she was at.
Gene is giving you a perspective from when Kim Porter was alive. She died of pneumonia a few years ago. She was about to launch a book that may or may not have implicated Diddy.
Kim Porter's funeral had 24-hour armed guards, a gold casket rushed in days, and family restricted from seeing her body. Officially, it was pneumonia, but with vanishing files and whispered memoirs, was this tragedy or erasure? On November 15th, 2018, the entertainment world froze. Kim Porter, model, actress, and longtime partner of Sean Diddy Combs, was suddenly found dead inside her Toluca Lake mansion. The official story? Pneumonia. But almost immediately, nothing about her final hours added up. Just a day before, friends say Kim was upbeat. She texted loved ones that she was feeling better. Music producer Dallas Austin revealed they even spoke the night before her death. Yet at 2:15 a.m., a mysterious 911 call came from Kim's home. Paramedics arrived, but when the LAPD showed up later, they reportedly never inspected her body. Within hours, the coroner ruled pneumonia without a full toxicology report, without public autopsy photos, without explanation. Even stranger, every trace of Kim's electronics vanished. Her laptops, her phones, gone. Family members swore she always kept them close, especially with her children. So who removed them and why? Medical experts question the story. Pneumonia can be dangerous, but it rarely kills someone so suddenly, especially someone wealthy enough to call any doctor at any hour. Instead, whispers spread. Had Kim been poisoned? Witnesses remembered her looking unusually drained in the weeks before. One bizarre detail made headlines she'd even received a massage the day before her supposed full-blown pneumonia. Who massages a patient that sick? Then came the funeral. Within days, Diddy had ordered a lavish gold casket, something that normally takes months. Guards were stationed 24/7 at the funeral home. Even family members were restricted from viewing her body. Why such extreme secrecy? Her father later admitted he believed the case was mishandled. Fans online began calling it a Hollywood cover-up. And when you look closely at the timeline, it doesn't feel like a tragedy. It feels like orchestration. But to understand why Kim might have been silenced, we need to go back to her stormy history with Diddy, a man she tried to escape again and again. Kim Porter's story with Diddy began in the glittering 1990s, a decade of hip-hop dominance, flashing cameras, and endless parties. But behind the glamorous exterior, their relationship was turbulent from the very start. In 1998, Kim gave birth to Christian Combs, Diddy's son. Breakups and reconciliations followed like clockwork. No matter how far she tried to run, Diddy always pulled her back. By 2006, she gave birth to twins, Delilah and Jesse. But a year later, she went public with her breaking point. In an interview with The Insider, Kim said simply, "I've had enough." But leaving Diddy wasn't that simple. Friends whispered of jealous rages. There were stories of pillow smothering, games that felt more like intimidation. At one point, Kim allegedly fought back, stabbing Diddy with a corkscrew in self-defense. Yet even with her courage, his wealth and influence made reporting abuse nearly impossible.
Kim couldn't have nobody. You understand what I'm saying, bro? Diddy could do whatever, Puff could do whatever he wanted to do, Brother Love could do whoever he wanted to be. If Kim ever tried to get with somebody, Puff would interfere with them or with her trying to be with them. He wasn't letting that happen. Unless he was bringing them to the picture. That's what he used Kim for, bro. He wanted to make a deal with somebody. He'll get another girl and a guy that he's trying to make a deal with, and him and Kim, they all party together, man.
Friends recall her confiding that she felt trapped. Diddy controlled who she saw, who she dated, even using her in his business dealings. Witnesses later claimed Kim was offered to industry partners, a pawn in a high-stakes game of power and money. But Kim wasn't silent. She began writing a secret memoir documenting her pain. Rumors spread of tapes, video evidence of what she endured. Kim entrusted copies of files to trusted friends. One of those confidants was her first love, Al B. Schur, who warned her, "Be careful." By 2018, Kim grew paranoid. She suspected surveillance inside her own home. Around the same time, she and Cassie, another woman tied to Diddy, began comparing stories. The similarities were chilling. When Diddy learned Kim was ready to talk, fear rippled through his empire. Weeks later, Kim Porter was dead. The cycle ended not with freedom, but with silence. But was Kim's death an isolated tragedy, or part of a much larger pattern of silenced voices in Diddy's orbit? When Kim Porter died, many pointed out something eerie. She wasn't the first person in Diddy's orbit to meet a sudden, suspicious end. In 2011, Heavy D collapsed and died from what was called a pulmonary embolism. He was only 44. In 2018, Craig Mack, one of Bad Boy's first stars, died of heart failure, though whispers of AIDS surrounded him. Just months later, Kim herself was gone. 2 years after that, in 2020, Andre Harrell, Diddy's mentor and the man who discovered him, died unexpectedly at 59. Actions don't end there. Jaguar Wright, a singer known for exposing industry secrets, claimed all of them had something in common. They were preparing to tell their stories. Heavy D, Andre Harrell, and Kim Porter were reportedly working on memoirs. Al B. Schur was producing a documentary about Uptown Records and its darkest secrets. None of those projects ever saw the light of day. And then come the poisoning rumors. Jamie Foxx, after clashing with Diddy, allegedly suffered poisoning. Big Homie CC even claimed he tested positive for cyanide. The symptoms of these cases, strokes, sudden pneumonia, respiratory failure, sound eerily similar. Kim's own pneumonia diagnosis fits right into that pattern. Was it really an infection, or something slipped into her system? The gold casket, the rushed funeral, and the sealed autopsy suggest someone wanted answers buried forever. As one insider put it bluntly, Diddy survives, everyone else dies. The deaths line up like dominoes, each silencing a voice that threatened to speak out. And Kim, tragically, was just another chapter in that chilling pattern. But if the deaths formed a trail, the center of that trail always seems to lead back to one thing: Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, where power, secrets, and danger collided. From the moment Kim Porter's body was found, the story of her death began to unravel, not from what investigators discovered, but from what they ignored. The LAPD called her death natural almost immediately, long before a proper investigation was even launched. Detectives never examined her body at the scene. The coroner ruled it pneumonia, yet took no autopsy photographs, an omission experts say is virtually unheard of. Even stranger, Kim's electronics, her phones, laptops, and tablets all disappeared from her home. Security cameras that once monitored the property also vanished. Witnesses were ignored. Dallas Austin's daughter, reportedly the last person to see Kim alive, was never asked to give a police statement. There are whispers Kim herself called 9/11 hours before she died. That tape has never surfaced. Meanwhile, her funeral was handled with suspicious speed.
Has died. She's the ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs and the mother of his children. She was 47 years old.
Kim Porter dated Diddy off and on from 1994 to 2007.
Days Rip has told ET, quote, "Sadly, I can't confirm the passing of Kim Porter. I ask that you give the families privacy at this time."
Let's go to Angelique Jackson from the ET News Desk with the latest details coming in. Angelique, what can you tell us?
Hi, guys. Of course, this is very sad news, and it is developing as we speak. LA police, an LA public information officer tells us that North Hollywood officers responded to a death investigation call at a Toluca Lake residence. This, of course, was related to Kim Porter, and they tell us that the female was unresponsive and that her cause of death is undetermined at this time.
A gold casket was ordered and delivered in days, something insiders say is nearly impossible under normal circumstances. Armed guards surrounded her body around the clock, while her own family was restricted from private viewings. Toxicology samples reportedly destroyed, and when questions mounted, the coroner refused to revisit the case. The paper trail looked just as controlled. Kim's will had been updated shortly before her death, shifting certain benefits in ways that seemed designed to protect Diddy's empire. Rumors spread of payoffs to silent staff and neighbors. Those questioned by police found their statements sealed away, never to be revealed. Al B. Sure, her former partner, went public. She did not die of pneumonia. Family members begged for the case to be reopened. Online petitions grew. But LAPD stayed silent, while journalists who pushed too far mysteriously lost their assignments. The truth, it seems, was buried, alongside Kim. And yet, whispers of the truth continue leaking out, through insiders, survivors, and those who barely escaped Diddy's reach. Kim Porter's death wasn't just a personal tragedy, it may have been the silencing of a woman holding the most dangerous secrets in Hollywood. For years, she had allegedly documented her life with Diddy in a secret memoir. Friends say she handed out copies of certain chapters for safekeeping. Jaguar Wright later claimed she had heard portions of it, and what it described was explosive. According to whispers, Kim detailed the infamous freak-off parties, wild, unrestrained gatherings where celebrities were compromised, filmed, and controlled. More chilling still, she allegedly possessed tapes showing Diddy with underage girls. Those recordings, insiders claim, became her insurance policy, her way of negotiating survival in a world where silence was the only protection. But paranoia grew. Cassie and Kim had begun comparing their stories, realizing their experiences mirrored each other's. The two reportedly planned to go public together. Cassie would eventually sue in 2023. Kim never lived to see her chance. The allegations didn't stop there. Insiders whispered that Diddy had been HIV positive for decades, yet still hosted unprotected orgies. Multiple women came forward with stories of infections spreading in his circle. Kim, they say, knew and kept records. When she died, those records vanished. Craig Mack's sudden death, Andre Harrell's passing, even Kim's own pneumonia diagnosis. Industry voices now question if these weren't simply coincidences, but misreported HIV-related complications. Jaguar Wright summed it up in one chilling phrase: his biological warfare. If Kim's body were ever exhumed, insiders believe the results could shatter Diddy's empire overnight, implicating dozens of powerful figures, unraveling decades of carefully buried secrets. Kim Porter may lie in her grave, but many believe her body still holds the deadliest truth Hollywood has ever tried to hide. Kim Porter's death was ruled pneumonia, but the missing evidence, vanished files, and whispered memoir tell another story. Was it fate or silencing? Until the truth is unearthed, the questions won't die. Like, share, and subscribe, because more secrets are coming, and the next revelation could change everything